Hi, this Miss Melinda. Welcome to Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. How is all my subscribers and fans doing tonight? Let's see, what night is this? This is the weekend. So y'all might be out somewhere. You guys, are you out? Maybe had the kids stay home and maybe the two of you went out somewhere? Or are you on a beach somewhere where it's still sunny in the daytime? I have a whole list of the countries that I have fans in. My assistant showed me right on the computer, and I'm in just about every country there is. Yeah, and we're talking, like I got 12,000 fans in UK. I got like 700 in Japan, 40,000 in America, 700 in Japan. I'm in Portugal. I'm in Iran. I got 200 fans in Iran. Aren't they fighting bombs there? Yeah, I am in. I wrote down half the list, and then we ran out of time. But I do want to read that list to you sometime. I didn't bring it again, but I'm just about in every country there is. Yeah, I think I even saw Russia. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? I guess Miss Melinda got famous, didn't she? Well, I always said, but I really didn't think it would happen. I had no way to make it happen. But I always said, someday I'm going to write, film, produce, and star in my own show. And here I am, Miss Melinda, starring in my own show, Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. And I'm not just in the state of Illinois. I'm not just in all 50 states of America. I'm not just in Germany and Italy. I'm in just about every country except North Korea. And I'm talking like at least, some are thousands. Most of them are thousands of fans in these countries. And then I guess actually they do show it in a numeric order at the top, starting with the most fans, which would be 40,000 in America. And then they do 12,000 in the UK, and it keeps going, and I forget. But there's most of these foreign countries, a lot of them are still in the thousands for fans in all these foreign countries. And I mean really weird countries. They still have like 1,000 or 3,000 here, and then it starts dwindling down. And I forget I haven't written half the country. I've written about 25 countries. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then it dwindles to whatever the last countries, where it dwindles down to like 100. And I think that's about the lowest it goes. So I will get the whole thing, and I want to read it to you guys. You'll freak out. You're like, oh, Miss Melinda's this famous? That's why you have to comment under my videos. Tell me that you're happy that I took a break. Listen, I don't mean for you to completely stop biology. I worked hard. It's 40, what is it, 45 or 46 biology classes. I don't want you just to drop them completely off the face of the earth, because I've been working for free since February 13th of last year. So if you could still try to watch some of the biology classes, I'd really appreciate it, okay? So we're having a ball, because from now on, it's going to be this way. for who knows, 2 years, maybe more. Right now, it's going to be a free-for-all, okay? We're not going to spend a whole class on one subject. We're not doing that. I will make one class for a subject, and I'll jump to another subject. And one class, so I'll be averaging one class a subject, you know. And once in a while, I might go back, I might want to go back one time on this class, just one more time for the next couple, 2 pages in this big white book. But there won't be anything more than a second class. I mean, if there's a lot more related, we will come back to it maybe, 3 months from now or something, because I'm not doing anything in order. You don't have to worry anymore about watching me in order, except for my old videos, And I still want you, please, to make an effort to go in and just watch 5, 10, 15 minutes in the biology, too, because I work so hard. But now, you're going to get to have fun first before you hopefully stay committed fan and watch some of my biology. Before you have to do that, have a ball with my uploads. Watch them a bunch of times, when you get them at first. Yeah, I just uploaded, and I had one day today, and one's got already 5 hours watch time, and I didn't upload it till the end of the day yesterday, so nobody probably even saw it yesterday, or maybe late into the night or something. They might, or after dinner or something, they got some of it. But today I got 5 hours watch time on a video I just uploaded Friday, late in the day. Well, that's yesterday, yeah. And then I have, is it 3 videos yesterday or 2? I think just 2. The other one has an hour, but that one's going to pick up. It's real hot, sexy diva costume, and it's a fun subject. These are all fun and exciting subjects. So, shall we get the class going and tell you the surprise, which is, what is today's subject, Miss Melinda? Well, today's subject is priests and mummies. Priests, like a Catholic priest. I have a hard time pronouncing it with my teeth. Okay, it's priests, like a Catholic priest, but plural. Priests and mummies. Priests and mummies. The ancient Egyptian, the ancient Egyptians worshipped many gods and believed in life after death. That freaked me out. Now, I have studied King Tut's tube, Egypt, and Neanderthal, Homo sapien, Homo erectus, back in College of DuPage in Wheaton, Illinois, back in the late 70s. And I made, for my final project, I made 3 artifacts out of King Tut's tomb. I got an A+, and Mr. Holzkamp, my history teacher, said, "Could I have your project to hang in the windows of the hallway of College of DuPage?" And I couldn't believe it. I'm not even an artist. And I said, "Well, of course, Mr. Holzkamp, you can have my 3 artifacts to hang in the window of the hallway." Yeah, that's a big deal, isn't it? I was going to go, the class was going to Egypt to excavate. And I was going to do it, and then I was really young and going out too much with my friends. My parents would have paid for it, and I didn't do it, and I regret it. But here we are again, back with Egypt, and we're going to have fun. Okay, so that freaked me out, that the ancient Egyptians worshipped many gods. And the main thing is, we're not going to get into that. I don't discuss God. But I just want to say, They believed in life after death. Doesn't that give you a little consolation? That's not the right word. Consolement or something? Doesn't that give you a little security that, yeah, there really is a heaven? They even believed in afterlife back with the mummies and the priests back in the ancient Egyptian days. They believed in afterlife. That gives me some support and happiness that if they believed in it, then, we can't talk religion. I don't discuss religion, politics, or abortion. So we can't take it any farther. But I was fascinated that they did believe in life after death, the ancient Egyptians, okay? To make sure their spirits could enjoy the afterlife, the Egyptians embalmed, and they put in parentheses, preserved. Embalming is preserving the bodies of the dead. So I didn't know they actually embalmed them like we do. So they knew how to do that too? Wow, okay. I thought they just taped them up like mummies. No, they actually embalm and preserve them. Well, I forgot. I'm sure I knew that in class, 45 years ago. Anyway, the bodies of the dead. So they preserved the bodies of the dead. The priests were very powerful and helped people with sacred works. Okay? Are you guys with me? Okay? All right. Isn't this exciting? Yeah, I think we were a little burnt out on biology. This is fun and interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Why were tombs robbed? So, thieves were robbing the tombs. So they're asking, why were tombs robbed? Why were tombs robbed? Okay. Robbers plundered tombs for the treasures they contained. Okay, you with me, guys? Okay. Robbers plundered tombs for the treasures they contained. Rich Egyptians were buried with everything they would need in the afterlife. Well, now this part, it's a little weird to me, but we are discussing religion. Now let's just learn what I'm teaching you, and, that's it. Okay, so rich Egyptians were buried with everything they would need in the afterlife, like food, clothes, jewelry, and even models and even models of servants, okay? Lucky amulets, I've never heard of that word. It's A-M, like mud, U, and let's go to the store, L-E-T-S. Amulets. Okay, lucky amulets. Like these were often placed among a mummy's bandaged to ward off evil spirits. Okay, who was mummified? Is my shirt even here? Yeah. Who was mummified? Okay, preserving a body was expensive. Only the royal family, top officials, and priests were mummified. The poor were in reed coffins, R-E-E-D, reed coffins. The poor were in reed coffins or in holes in the sand. I don't know what reed coffins means. You can Google it. Or in holes in the sand. Yeah. Some animals were mummified, including cats. That freaks me out. That makes me feel so good because we had so many cats, dogs, horses, and a goose, including, so some animals were mummified, including cats, dogs, baboons, and crocodiles, because they represented gods and goddesses. Cats, for example, represented the goddess Bastet. B like ball, A like apple, S like stay, T like Tom, E like Edward, T like Tom. So, for example, represented the goddess Bastet. So these animals, they believed, represented gods and goddesses. Cats, for example, represented the goddess Bastet. Okay? That's fascinating, isn't it? Isn't this more exciting and interesting? Are you able to listen to me and think about what I'm saying now? That they're exciting topics, aren't they? Okay, let's go. What is a mummy? A mummy is a body, that has been preserved. The people who made mummies were called embalmers, period. Okay, I'm right in the middle of filming, so I can't talk. Sorry. Okay, the people who made mummies were called embalmers, period. After being dried out and rubbed with oils, the body was wrapped in bandages, which could be up to 3 miles long. Okay? A priest watched over the embalmers as they worked, which pharaohs, and that is spelled P-H, see, so, and it has the F sound, just like I've been doing. Pharaoh spelled P-H-A-R, and then A-O-H-S, pharaohs. So, as they worked, okay, which pharaoh's tomb survived? Well, we all know that answer, don't we? Most pharaohs' tombs were robbed in 1922. It's amazing they got the year like that, isn't it? Yeah. Most pharaohs' tombs were robbed in 1922, the Roaring Twenties, my Great Gatsby dress. Okay. However, archaeologists found the tomb of Tutankhamun, Tutankhamun. So, archaeologists in 1922, however, archaeologists found the tomb of Tutankhamun, who was only 18 years old when he died. You know, back then that's how it was. His tomb was still intact and full of priceless treasures, okay, which I made one of those artifacts out of his tombstone. The other 2 artifacts I made was the 2 artifacts King Tut is holding in his hands on top of his tombstone. His tomb, not stone. On top of his tomb. The 2 artifacts he's holding in his hands. I will explain that later. So, his tomb was still intact and full of priceless treasures, including his mummy, an ornate golden face mask. They made him a golden face mask because he was King Tut, I guess. Isn't that amazing? Did you know you could eat gold flakes shaved on dessert? It's in one of my classes. If you watch the first Q&A, you'd have to find it. I'm in a see-through top that has a bunch of pearls all over the see-through top, and under it is a blue bra because it's a see-through blue, but you guys can't see the blue. You have to see it in person. But it said that there are restaurants that serve solid gold, like shaved flakes over your dessert. I've never heard of that one. Did you? And you can eat it. This is for real. Google it. I'm telling you, it's for real. So, they made King Tut a golden face mask. What was painted on the coffin, comma? What was painted on the coffin? My hair's getting hot in here. Yeah. Okay. This ain't, there, that looks better. Okay. What was painted on the coffin? A body was placed in a nest of 2 or 3 coffins, each painted with hieroglyphics. I engraved hieroglyphics on the treasure chest artifact that I made out of King Tut's tomb. So each painted with hieroglyphics. And it says in parentheses, word pictures. So they drew pictures for words and to express themselves. And spells to keep away evil spirits. Like, wait a minute, I skipped a sentence. So word pictures were also engraved in the hieroglyphics. God's pictures of the person's life were on there. And spells to keep away evil spirits. Okay, how was the brain removed? An embalmer removed the brain by pulling it out through the nostrils. I wouldn't think it'd fit, but that's what they're saying. An embalmer removed the brain by pulling it out through the nostrils with a bronze hook. I don't know why they need a bronze hook, but that's what they did. They did not think the brain was important, so they threw it away. They didn't think the brain was important, so they threw it away. Okay? How was a body preserved? The soft body organs were removed, dried, and placed in vessels called canopic jars. Can, like you're drinking a pop can, and then opic, O-P-I-C. So, we're going to read it over since I had to spell it. The soft body organs were removed, dried, and placed in vessels called canopic jars, period. The spaces were packed with rags or sawdust, and the body was stitched close. It was then covered in a kind of salt called natron. Never heard of it. N-A-Tron, T-R-O-N. Natron, which dried it out. I probably learned all this in my first time I took this class, but that was all the way back in the 70s, so I could forget a word like natron. It's N-A-T-R-O-N. It says it was then covered in a kind of salt called natron, which dried it out. What was a death mask? A death mask was a portrait of dead person, of the dead person. A death mask was a portrait of the dead person, period. It was put over the mummy's face so that the soul could recognize its body. Death masks were often made of painted wood, but most pharaohs had death masks of beaten gold. Beaten gold. Wow. Who did? Most pharaohs. Okay, pharaohs must be above, the bottom of, the human race there. It says, but most pharaohs had death masks of beaten gold. So pharaohs must have been politically, high on a platform. Who wore a jackal's head? So Jack and then Ale, like Ale go to the store. So it's one word, jackals. Jack and Ale went to the store. It's one word, jackal. See how I do that? Who wore a jackal's head when the priest said the final prayers over a body, he wore the mask of the jackal god, comma, Anubis. I guess the jackal god's name is Anubis. A-N like Nick, U like under, B like boss, I-S. So, one more time. When the priest said the final prayers over a body, comma, he wore the mask of the jackal god, comma, Anubis. And it's god of the dead, quote unquote. It's considered god of the dead, quote unquote. At the tomb, comma, the priest held the mummy during the quote, opening of the mouth, unquote. Opening of the mouth. The priest, at the tomb, the priest held the mummy during the opening of the mouth ceremony, comma, to give the dead person the power to eat, comma, move, and breathe. Well, we're not going to have a debate about that. Yeah, we don't do that in this class, in this show at all. Pyramids and tombs. Egyptian pharaohs. Oh, we're down to just 2 pages. Are you guys with me? I think you guys are staying with me because it's interesting and fun and you can understand it, can't you? Not a bunch of real difficult words. I think you're with me. We only got 2 pages left. Can you stay with me for 2 more pages? Okay, 2 more pages. Pyramids and tombs. Egyptian pharaohs of the Old and Middle Kingdoms, 3,500 to 5,000 years ago, were buried inside pyramids in the New Kingdom. Oh, 3,000 to 3,500 years ago, pharaohs were buried in tombs in a valley on the west bank of the Nile at Thebes. Well, Nile is the river, right? The Nile River. So 3,000 to 3,500 years ago, pharaohs were buried in tombs in a valley on the west bank of the Nile at Thebes. Thebes. So like the is the beginning of the word, the, bes, B-E-S. So in a valley on the west bank of the Nile at Thebes. At Thebes. Last page, guys, you with me? Oh no, there's 2 pages. Okay, 2 pages. Okay. You with me? Okay? Okay. How was a pyramid built? It took at least 4,000 craftsmen. Wow, that's a lot, isn't it? And thousands of laborers to build a pyramid. Most of the laborers were farmers who worked as builders, okay, to pay their taxes. God, they had taxes back then? I don't remember that being in my class in the 70s either. They had to pay taxes back then? Wow, I don't remember that in my class. They cleared the site, comma, S-I-T-E, you spell when it's a place, and if it's your eyesight, it's S-I-G-H-T. But when you're talking about a site, like a place, it's S-I-T-E. So they cleared the site, comma, laid the foundations and dragged the stones into place. Stone masons used an assortment of tools to cut the hard blocks of limestone that covered the outside of the pyramids. They cut the stone into blocks that fit together perfectly. Last page. Okay. Last page. You listening? Okay. Which temple was moved in 1964? Now we're getting up to the 60s. In 1964, comma, the temple at Abu, A-B-U, Simbel, S-I-M-B like boy, E-L. So Abu Simbel. That sounds Indian to me. Let's read this over. Which temple was moved? In 1964, the temple at Abu Simbel was moved so that it would not be flooded when the Aswan, A-S, say like a swan, okay? That's the word, one word, a swan, A-S-W-A-N, Aswan. The Aswan Dam, it's a dam, was built. The Aswan Dam was built, so it would not be flooded. 1964. The temple had been carved out of solid rock on the banks of the Nile River. Why did Egyptians, this is it guys, you staying with me? Okay. Why did Egyptians have funeral barges? The mummified bodies of the Egyptian pharaohs were placed on highly decorated boats so that they could travel to the next world. The boat was dragged to the tomb on a sled pulled by an oxen. Oxen. I guess it's some kind of animal. I'm not familiar with it. I guess I don't remember every little part of my class back then, but most of the whole thing I did. And that's the end of the class. But would you like me to explain to you just quickly? It was a hard, long job for my final project. I think it was called Western Civilization. I'm not sure. But, so it was a class and we studied King Tut's tomb and all the Egyptian stuff I just talked about. And then we studied, like Neanderthal, Homo sapien, Homo erectus. Yeah, we studied all that. And he said, you can make something for your final project. I don't know if he gave us a paper test with it, a final exam. I would think he would, but I feel like it was just the project. He might, I think that maybe he has to have a final exam more than a project, I would think. I'm not sure. So we either had a final exam, I'm not sure, but we had to do a project. And I thought of 3 artifacts from King Tut's tomb. So, why don't I tell you about the 2 on the outside of the tomb? So, have you ever seen King Tut's book? It's like this big, about this big. And it's purple and gold. It's a picture of King Tut's tomb. You must have seen the book in your lifetime. They even had King Tut's tomb in Chicago, I think, on display, exhibit. Oh, I would love to go to that. Yeah, that would be nice. So what I did was King Tut has his hands arms and hands like this, and he's holding something in each one. So one is a C, the letter C, and then it's just a straight stick down. And then the other one is a stick. It's not a stick like a stick outside. It's the only way I can describe it. A pole, okay, maybe a pole, a long pole, this is about the same length, as the other artifact. They got to match. And at the top of that pole, we'll call it a pole, it had 4 or 5 things hanging from the end of that pole. So they dangled. Okay, that's the best I can tell you. So here's this. If you've never seen the book, look up King Tut's picture. They have everything on the internet. Look up the book. Look up him, King Tut's tomb. Tell him, give me a big picture of King Tut's tomb. So it's purple and gold. So each artifact he's holding like this. Each pole is a gold and purple stripes down both poles. It was gold stripes and purple stripes down each pole. So, and the C that was the one on that was on that one pole, it was also purple and gold stripes also. Fat stripes, about that fat. About between a centimeter and an inch or something. So the C thing that I made out of the same thing, obviously, was purple and gold stripes. And then the dangly thing, the other pole was gold and purple stripes. And the dangly things, like that long, not long, about this long, about that long, dangled. Those were purple and gold striped too. Now, I don't consider myself an artist. I'm an academic scientist. I'm into facts. And I'm a humanitarian. I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. So I never thought of myself as an artist. But my art got in the window of the hallway at College of DuPage in Wheaton, Illinois. So I'd say I'm a pretty damn good artist, wouldn't you? So guess how I made those two artifacts? What did I make them out of? Can anybody guess? I don't know where I got the idea. I never even heard of it in high school or anything. We never made anything out of this. We made paper mache in grammar school. I made a giraffe out of paper mache in grammar school. I remember because I got a picture. It's in the background picture of me, my dad, and my sister. Yeah, but this is what I did. I went to Ace Hardware store and I bought baked clay. It's not baked yet, but clay that you could bake. I have no idea how I came up with the idea. I am an amazing person, and I guess you call it spontaneity. That's why my show is Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. Because I'm smart and I do a lot of things and talk a lot spontaneously. Like this class brought me to think I'm going to share a life story spontaneously. I did not plan it. Okay, so I bought the clay. And I bought these little wooden sticks. Not sticks the way you're thinking. Little pieces of white wood. Real soft. And they're like a fourth of a centimeter. So picture, how can I explain it? Okay, picture each end has a square. That's the shape of the end of the pieces of wood. They were about this long, about this long. And the ends are a square. So that means the whole thing, piece of wood, is square shaped. Now you got me? Now you with me on that one? And it's soft wood. Okay. So I bought a bunch of those pieces of wood. And let's finish the artifacts King Tut's holding in his hands and arms. So I rolled, and then I made it like I rolled it. I don't think he had to make it square. The artifacts King Tut's holding in his hands and arms, they're long poles about this long, not a foot, maybe 9 inches, 8 inches. And I think it was a rolled shape, if I'm not mistaken. So I rolled them, and I baked that, and I rolled and made a C. And it was cooked separately. And the dangly things were cooked separate. I don't think I cooked it all at like one time, because heat can be uneven, I've learned that, microwaving food. So I probably cooked like the two poles together, and then I cooked probably the dangly things that you rolled, and they were just a little thinner at the top, and then they got a little heavier and a round bottom, the dangly things. Okay. And I baked that. Then it all come out. You let it dry, and it's hard. And then I just took a piece of tape like professional painters do. I cut it to the size, the tape to the size I needed to make my stripes. And I painted all those parts purple and gold stripes. And that's basically it for the two artifacts on the outside of King Tut's tomb that he's holding in his hand. So the third artifact, I made a treasure chest that they buried in King Tut's tomb, like I taught you in class. They bury their treasures so they can use them in their afterlife. And so it was made out of ivory. So when I bought those squared, long, well, like 6 inches, 6, 7 inches, they were just square ends, so the whole stick, it's not a stick, but you know what I'm trying to say, it's all square shape, right? Long square. So I made the treasure chest. I built it with the wooden pieces. I painted them. I think I had more of the walls. It was a treasure chest about this big. It was square, maybe a little rectangle, mostly square, but maybe a little long, a touch of rectangle shape, you know. And I took my parents' metal shish kebab stick that had a sharp point, and I hand carved. First, I painted them cream colored paint with a little pink added to it to give it. It was supposed to be real opal, I think opal or ivory. No, it was real ivory. Okay, so this treasure chest was made out of real ivory. So I took those sticks and I painted them cream and mixed in some pink, real light pink, to make it look like real ivory. Like, I don't know, the pink just seemed to give it a little bit, even though maybe ivory on a tusk has not got any pink in it, but I just put it real light. You couldn't really see the pink. And I painted that, and then every piece of wood, I hand carved Egyptian hieroglyphics. I copied out of King Tut's book, so you could study the appearance of Egyptian hieroglyphics. If you look up that book on the internet, it should be on there, and look up Egyptian hieroglyphics. I copied them perfectly. I carved Egyptian hieroglyphics on every ivory piece of wood that was supposed to look ivory. I hand carved Egyptian hieroglyphs on all that, and it had a cover that, you know, to it, and that's the best I can describe it to you. There's probably a little more involved, but I can't remember. So isn't that interesting? That was a spontaneous story I thought of because I was teaching this class, and that's what this was the class I took. Yeah, that made me do these 3, and he gave me an A+, and he hung it up in the window. So now are you impressed with your teacher? Yeah, that was all the way back in the 70s I took that. Okay, so I think I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see you next class. I love all my subscribers. I love all my fans and students. I want you to support Miss Melinda, and let's get the ball rolling here. I only need 300 and something valid public watch hours, which is nothing because I needed 3,000. Well, I only need now 300 and something. So let's blow through this 300 and something so I can start making some tips because I'm running out of costumes and I don't have money for new diva costumes. So I can't wait much longer, or I don't know what we're going to do. I do have a lot of costumes left, but not that much. We need to get me making some money, yeah, because, you know, the makeup is expensive. You know, I have to do my hair. The clothes are expensive. And we need to get me to be able to go out and go on a good shopping spree. And I have some big surprises coming up where I'm not going to tell you anything except I will reveal to you that eventually, not that far away, I can't do it all the time because I have to have somebody hold the tablet, and it has to be like the only dependable close friend I have here that I could depend on, we would have to film me in my room. And so the surprise is I will be eventually showing my whole body. You won't be able to hear any music because if I start making money, somebody taught me that they can take some of your profits because of copyrights. They could take some of your money. So when I was singing to that one band, I deleted it. And so what I'll do is I will be wearing headphones so that I can dance for you and not look crazy. You know, I have something to dance to. But I have to turn the headphones down because when we tried it the first time, you could hear the headphones. You guys would be able to hear the headphones. So I have to turn the headphones way down so you can't even hear the headphones. Or the company might charge me if I start making money. Yeah. So I will once in a while down the road. It's just a matter of time. I will start dancing once in a while and show full body, but don't expect professional dancing. But I can look decent to some black soul disco. You know, it's just you're not going to get to hear that. But I don't think you're going to care. You're just going to enjoy the show, aren't you? Okay, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I will smile for you. See? And you'll see my permanent white teeth. They don't come out. And hit my like button, everybody. Okay? I love all my subscribers, all 1,007 of you. I love all my subscribers. I love all my fans, and I love all my students. And you guys have a nice night and a nice week, okay? I'll see you next class. Good night. I'm going to bed. I'm going to YouTube a movie.